I'm Lance Phillips. Today is National Hot Buttered Rum Day. I don't have a clue what that is, but it has rum in it, and I wish it was in this cup.
I'm Chris King, and I'm drinking ice cold water, not hot buttered rum. I'm trying to stay sober on the set.
Terrible.
Just keeping it real here.
With water?
With water.
Dude, green
Tonight,
tea.
maybe I'll have a national hot butter rum
Hot
drink.
butter. What is hot buttered rum?
I don't know. I feel like it needs to do some research. It sounds good.
Sounds like hot buttered bum.
Chilly day keeps you warm.
Does
Warmer
it?
than regular rum.
I'll take your word for it. Lance Phillips, Chris King, gloves are off. Catch us on Twitter at Gloves TV, of course, new cap, the Gloves new cap for Facebook, folks. You and your team of 7 merry women are traveling to Keano. No, seriously, you're going to Keano. You're going to Fort McMurray this weekend. Back
Correct.
in the fold for second half of basketball season.
Finally,
You're currently 12-0.
wrong. 9-3. Finally, a regular season game. 58 days. And somehow every player's decided to get injured. So we might be taking 8 or 9 girls with us. And
You don't take the whole team?
No, I'm not taking it if you're injured. It's a long trip. We need the space. Yeah.
We need the space.
You can
for?
rehab at home. You can rehab
What do you
at
need
home.
the space for?
If it was a playoff game, maybe. But
What if you need those girls on the court, like just for something?
they're not helping me. They can't dress up. So we're going to put our 8 down, maybe 7 down on the roster and see what happens.
You need a win or two.
Yeah,
you
we
need
would like
2,
that.
is what you need.
Everyone's split in the conference. If we swept, we'd be in really good shape.
You'd be really good shape. The NHL is not in really good shape right now.
No.
Because the offside rule is ruining the NHL. I don't know if it's ruining the NHL. We're going to find out if it's ruining the NHL. The latest debacle in the NHL's offside rule comes with the Edmonton Oilers scoring and tying the game against the Nashville Predators. That was Friday night, Saturday night, if I'm not mistaken. Doesn't matter. Call was eventually reversed because Kara's foot was off the ice for a split second just before the puck went into the zone. The goal was called back. Have we gone too far, Kinger, with NHL offsides?
Yes. The answer is yes, obviously. There's no need to have a camera zoomed in to see if he's a millimeter or 2 off the ice. I think this goes for all the sports, but the instant replay's got to go on offsides. I can handle it on the goal, not goal, but on the offsides, why? Why do we need that detail?
You don't want to get the call right.
I don't think I care if the guy skates up or not.
Yeah,
or
but what
if
if in that particular instance, it was 7 seconds later that Mark Letestu potted the tying goal.
Right, and sometimes it does lead to goals, but it's slowing down the game for the fans. It's slowing it down on TV. I just think it takes away from the on-ice product.
Okay. I'm not arguing with you here. I'm not arguing with you here. This is gotta go.
Yeah.
It has to go. I'm just making a case. I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
Fair.
You want to get the right call. Look, if you want to get the right call if the puck is barely over the line. You're trying to decipher if there's white between the goal line and the puck. Stop at the offsides. If we have to stop the frame and move it 2 frames to see if his skate is up, and 2 frames back and forward in super slow motion, we've gone too far with this. Let the officials make the call. This all stems from Matt Duchene's 4-foot offside in 2013. And if you have to make an offside, this all boils down to that. And if they can't get a 4-foot offside right, it's not a matter of changing the rule that we have to now do these challenges. That official needs to be punished. That linesman needs to be punished by the league that they didn't get it right. And if that happens again, they need to be punished again. This has got to go. It's absolutely insane.
It's a fast game. So there's been 33 challenges this year. 60% of them have been overturned on offside. That's not including the 87 interference challenges. That's a lot of challenges.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, at bare minimum, they finally brought in a penalty if your offside challenge is incorrect.
Right.
Okay, that's a good start. Do you want to really go the distance? Get rid of it. It's got to go.
Yeah.
It's slowing the game. It is ruining the game of hockey. It's ruining it.
We're on the same page to start. 21 days until our national men's hockey team takes the stage at the Olympics. Lance, what can we expect from this team?
A gold medal is what we can expect.
You think this team
is a gold medal team? Look at. Everybody preaches when NHL playoffs come around. What does everyone preach? Experience.
Right,
the experienced teams are the best teams. You have to have experience. This team has experience. Rene Bourque, Derek Roy, Gilbert, the creme brulee is in there.
There's some actually really talented guys in that team.
And Wojtek Wolski, who a year ago had a broken neck.
Yep.
Look, I like what this team has. I think they're going to bring a very balanced attack. Ben Scrivens has been outcast for a long time as a terrible goaltender. I don't think he's that bad, and he could feasibly lead the charge in goal. This team is a gold medal team.
So
when I look at them compared to, for instance, I'm cutting you off here.
Right. You know,
Just
that's
cut me
fine.
off. You've had enough.
You go.
The American
Love
roster,
it.
when I compare it to the American roster, this is a much better looking roster, much more experience, more balanced, more NHL experience. I just like it in general.
There's a lot of NHL experience. I think there's a difference between experience and over the hill, and I think some of our guys are like at that brink that maybe like some of those guys have 800, 700 games.
So what?
Some of the guys like Burley, Lyndon Vey, super talented. I thought some of those guys probably should have been in the league a lot longer. I'm not saying they're a gold medal team. I think they're going to be strong. I'm really excited to watch this Olympics. I think it's going to be an even playing field. I think all the games are going to be very interesting. I think the favorites obviously have to be maybe like the Russians or the Swedes, the teams with their own pro league that can produce probably a little bit more higher level talent at this point. Some guys that stay home that could have been playing in the NHL.
These guys have been playing in the KHL. They're playing in these professional. They're playing in leagues that are second tier to the NHL. So they're playing right underneath the NHL. And there's not enough talent.
Well, underneath the age is the AHL, technically, right? The NHL.
Well, the KHL has been long.
In terms of money, it's definitely there, and the talent.
Well, and it's been long said it's been the second best hockey league in the world.
Right. I disagree with the gold. I would love to see it. Love to see it.
Where are they finishing for you?
I would say third, maybe.
Third. That's a bronze. That's not happening. Toronto Blue Jays. I've made a few offseason moves, the latest being Curtis Granderson, the outfielder. Signed him for 1 year, $5 million. Kinger, good use of Blue Jays money, yes or no?
I guess you used the money, so that's a positive. I don't think so. I think the Jays...
Why not?
I think the Jays have a bunch of platoon outfielders. They have 5 guys, and none of them are really starters other than Pilar. Granderson hit .212 last year. He's 37 years old. His defense is getting worse. He's lost his speed. His batting is getting worse. He's once again a righty. The Jays are all righties. I'm not a huge fan.
He's a left-handed batter.
Sorry, he's a lefty. He hits righties well.
Yeah, he hits righties really well. That's what they need. They were 26 last year against right-handed batters in weighted on-base percentage, .310. 26. That's not good, just for the record.
Right. Yes.
To be good, you want to be probably top 5.
Right.
26 is not a good spot. He hits righties well. You said he hit .212. Yeah, it's not great, but he's going to hit.
Not great. That's terrible.
Yeah, he's also going to hit in a very hitter-friendly park in the Rogers Center this coming year. He hit 26 home runs. Jays fans are constantly concerned about home run hitting. He hits home runs.
The fans care about the home runs. The team cares about wins. He's a below-average fielder. Him and Pierce are now below-average outfielders. You have Zeke maybe in the corner.
He's the best of their outfield platoon people. He's the best option.
Maybe
for a team
like
that really struggled in the outfield last year, that constantly was trying to find someone to fill a void. He's a guy that can fill a void off the bench.
Why did they struggle last year in the outfield? Because you have an old, aging power hitter in the corner outfield. Granderson is an old, aging power hitter in the outfield.
He's not a starter, though. He's not a guy you're going to start.
So who are they starting? That's my problem with the signing. You need a starter in the outfield. You have Pilar out there, and that's it.
There's still lots of offseason to happen. There's no reason they can't find somebody. And you know, as a guy that, just as I said, utilizing all those guys that they had, this is a guy that can be a 4th outfielder for them. And they're going to find somebody. I like some of these moves they made. I do not think this is a waste of money. $5 million is not a waste of money for this guy.
Well, especially since you signed a lot of guys to arbitration at $2.5, $3 million. So it's really, in terms of the money, it doesn't make an impact. The Montreal Alouettes dropped some money on QB Josh Freeman, signing a 2-year deal. Lance, how successful can Josh Freeman be in the CFL?
Josh Freeman can be as successful as he wants to be. I know that's a ridiculous answer, but that's my answer. I like the idea of this. They just released Darian Durant, so I like the idea of Freeman. I think he's a guy who brings a lot of tools to the CFL. I think the biggest problem, we've seen this with other NFLers or former NFLers that have come to the CFL, is they have trouble adjusting to the game. If he can get over that hump, this is a guy that could make some noise in the CFL. The only drawback is playing for the Alouettes. They're garbage. Hot garbage.
Right. I think you hit it on the head. I think he can be as good as he wants to be. He was one of those guys drafted in the NFL, a tools guy, right?
Yeah.
He could run and throw. I think last year he had a couple tryouts and everyone was impressed with his big arm. My concern is he hasn't started since 2012.
I know.
So I'm not great at math, but that's going to be 6 years. And I don't know what he did the last 2 years. I can't research and find anything. I think he was just retired. So it's going to take him some while to get that touch back. But
he's only 30 years old too. It's
Yes.
not like he's ancient. And you know how well CFL quarterbacks, their longevity is pretty good.
yeah, you're not taking a ton of shots.
So 30 years old, if he plays as well as they hope that he can, I mean, he could be playing till he's 37 or 38 years old in that league. I mean, Ricky Ray's 37.
Yeah. Like I said, very toolsy, even with the team
Very
being
toolsy.
Baseball term, toolsy. I think you take a shot and you roll him out there and play him as much as you can to see, is he going to be our guy down the road when we start to get better?
Well, he's got to be the guy. I mean, they don't really have anybody else.
Right.
Montreal's in a big time problem where they don't have anybody. Now that they've released Durant, they're in trouble. I mean, he has to work for them.
Yeah,
He has to work for them, and I like it. I think it's a good move. You know, this guy could be the next great CFL quarterback. I mean, that is entirely possible. I mean, he can run, he can throw the ball. I mean, he's got a cannon of an arm.
And that bodes well for the big ball, throwing that big ball.
Oh,
A lot of
100%
guys
it
struggle
does.
with that.
100% it does. The NFL has been a comedy of errors recently as it pertains to helmet-to-helmet hits and their concussion protocol. The latest coming in the Kansas City Chiefs Tennessee Titans playoff game on Saturday. This past Saturday? Saturday before,
Yes.
pardon me, Saturday before, when tight end Travis Kelce of the Chiefs was hit by Jonathan Cyprien, helmet to helmet. Kelce was ruled out with a concussion, did not come back for the rest of the game. Should Cyprien have been suspended for this?
Yes, of course. It was a head-to-head. When you watch that play happen, he was coming in head first. Now, obviously, Kelce got hit by another tackler, which kind of like threw his body off. But anytime it's a head-to-head, the rule book says suspension and fine, does it not? Like that.
I believe that's what it says, but I don't actually know anymore given the NFL's policies.
Yeah, I
here.
think they actually might just have a blank page on the rule book
That's
section.
true.
But that
Or
was
the
really
rule book starts and then there's just white and then it carries on.
interpretation here. But
Yeah.
it's really tough to watch because he got up right away.
Well, he
And
didn't
then-
get it. Yeah, he got up
then
right away.
He
and
started to fall, and there's two grown men trying to hold him up, and he could not stay on his feet.
No, of course he couldn't. Look, you can't allow and this is the whole thing. If you're taking this seriously, you cannot allow that stuff to happen. And a lot of people are saying, oh, yeah, he was going down and Cyprien kind of was already. It doesn't matter. Cyprien led with his helmet.
Yeah.
He led with his helmet. And, I know that when you're tackling, you kind of, you're leaning toward into your head into it. But you can't lead with your helmet into another guy's head. You can't do it. I don't care. If you make that contact, there has to be stiff consequences until guys figure out how to tackle properly, because a lot of these guys clearly don't have any idea how to tackle properly.
No, they're just torpedoing, basically.
That's
right?
exactly
Yeah.
what they're doing. And until the NFL says, okay, this is the end, we've reached the end of this, now you're going to be penalized harshly if there's any helmet-to-helmet contact. This is going to continue to happen.
And it took out arguably KC's best player.
Oh,
right?
it
he is
did.
their best
Other
player.
than Alex Smith, and Alex Smith, you can make a case that Kelsey's better than Smith. That was their best player.
And they ended up losing the game because they had no offensive weapons down the stretch because of that. So
I don't know if that's why they lost the game, but it very well could be.
they didn't score after that, I think, right? But
That hurts having Kelsey out.
LeVar Ball, who I hate talking about, has been filling our TVs, our computers, our cell phones.
It's for a greater good, Kevin.
What do we need to do to keep the media from sensationalizing these type of people? Why does the media do this?
Money.
Is it only about money?
Yes, that's all it's about. Because if you can, this guy is bringing in ratings. He is a total douche. 100% he's a douchebag. But he's bringing in ratings. And as long as this guy's going to bring in ratings, these stations are going to continue to put this guy out there because it means that people are watching their station. It means that more people want to advertise while this guy's on their station because he's bringing viewers in and more money for the station. That's all it boils down to. If you want to stop it, it's going to take a station to stand up for what's right and say, look, we've had, ESPN's a great example. And this goes back to what Steve Kerr said about ESPN. He made a great point that ESPN has laid off hundreds of great journalists. And this is the crap they're filling the television with. This guy's not even real. He's not a sports journalist. He's not real. He's not good. I say real news. I don't believe in this fake real news thing. It's news, but it's not good news. It's terrible. And the fact that you've laid off all these people and you're having this guy on First Take and you're having this guy on all these shows, it's a joke.
He's an angry dad, is what he is. Right? And I don't understand. I get the ratings. I get that drives your money and your income. The reporters don't want to be out there doing it. We've tried to avoid talking about him. It's embarrassing. I'm sure his son's embarrassed about his dad.
He's the one that can stop this. Lonzo is the one that can stop this. He's the only one that can stop it. Or a station like ESPN just says, we're not having this guy on anymore, period. I don't care if our ratings go down because of this. We're not putting this guy on anymore. And until a station steps up to the plate and says, we're not doing this because we have good journalists that aren't working in the field, until they do that, this is going to continue to happen. And I know we're talking about it. We're not bringing that clown on our show.
Right.
We're not doing any of that kind of stuff, right? We are talking about it because we're saying, look, something's got to give here.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's the life that we live right now. Is these reality? He's a reality show, and kids 100%. And athletes follow this, and that's changing sports, unfortunately, for the bad.
Albert on the other side loaded up with tweets. We kept Steve Kerr out of it.
Yeah.
It's true, though, as a joke.
We're back, and the gloves are still off.
Kinger still likes the idea of LeVar Ball.
I can't stand it. I'm a Lakers fan, and I don't want to watch the games just because the camera goes to him so much, and then I have to hear everything he says. It's
ratings, man.
It's embarrassing.
It's all money. It's all money.
Yeah.
Till the world is not driven by money, this kind of stuff is going to continue to happen. Okay, this is the Hillmond Hitmen. The Hillmond Hitmen currently first in Saskatchewan Hockey League, Senior Hockey League.
Yeah, good squad.
Hockey League. They're a very good squad. This is thanks at Newcap TV News and at Lance Phillips TV. Really well done. So this is a little story I put together on Brad Simons, who had his jersey retired and his number retired by the Hitmen. When the Hitmen left, I believe it was 89. He came back in 2008 and restarted the team. Do you have any idea what kind of work is involved in starting up a hockey team from scratch?
No idea, especially senior men, tracking down all those guys to play. Yeah, that's a lot of effort.
So he did all this work. He started this team, played with them up until last season. Played last season, that was it. And they retired his number. I just did a little story. I'll tell you right now, going to places like Hillmond is one of the true joys of doing this job. You know, you get, like Ken Rutherford, the head coach, treats you like a king when you're there. Like, you know, can I get you something to drink? Can I do? Just, it's such a joy to go to those kinds of places and deal with those teams. Can't wait to get back there when they play for Sask Provincials against Wilkie.
Something to be said about small towns.
There is something to be said about that. And it's not hard to do.
Yeah.
It's not hard to be kind, and it's not hard to make people feel welcome at these different events, and they do a great job of it.
That's awesome. I got Z's, the Dream, at We the North 11. LeBron James has requested a trade and decided to take his talents to the Toronto Raptors, hashtag We the North. Of course, LeBron James is
Raptors power forward.
The Raptors power forward. He plays for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Wishful thinking?
Yeah. I don't think it's happening. I would love to see it. I'm sure Drake would love to see it. He'd probably...
that person getting fired?
Yeah. That's about as bad as it gets. I don't even know what news chain. I'm looking at that right there.
That's CP24. That's CP24 in Toronto. Someone just got fired. Jeff Howe, at Jeff P. Howe, a gronking to remember. I feel like this would be better if it was called a gronking we will go. A gronking we will go. Okay. Gronk opened the season with 69 career touchdowns. Gronk then caught his 69th TD pass. Gronk then caught his 69th TD pass from Tom Brady. Gronk had 69 yards on the game-winning drive in Pittsburgh. Gronk finished the season with 69 catches.
You're telling me it's all in the number.
Hey, there's mail.
That's incredible, whoever looked that up.
Unbelievable.
It takes a lot of work to find those stats.
I don't think it does. You just have to, you find something and you're like, okay, yeah, it's not hard to find the stats.
But you roll with it.
You just, you find something, you're like, oh, that's fascinating. And then you get a couple more and you're like, okay, let's keep this train moving along here.
One of the guys you like right here, I got Theo Fleury coming up here. One of your favorites. At Theo Fleury 14, great feature on my old teammate Kevin Stevens. Glad you made it back. No matter how far down the ladder we may fall, we can always make it back and make a difference.
Did you watch this?
I have not seen this yet.
Okay, so they've got a short, and a long version. At Sportsnet, I watched the short 7-minute version, 6-minute version the other day. It is fascinating. It's really well put together. I haven't watched the full one yet. Really well put together, really interesting stuff. That injury that he suffered, I don't think it was playoffs, can't remember offhand now. It was playoffs.
Yeah.
Ended his career, basically. Like
and then he went down through a bout of depression.
Oh, big time. Addiction, drugs and alcohol. Was arrested by the FBI. Like, just a crazy story. The guy was on pace to be a Hall of Fame player.
It's nice to hear. It's not nice to hear these stories, but it's nice to hear these come public so people know that there's other people that deal with the depression, anxiety, and addiction, because it's a lot more common than people think.
That's a lot more common than people think. You know, and people always assume the worst too, right? Like people have a tendency to assume that, you know, this person is upset and, you know, I can't deal with that person. They're too difficult to deal with or whatever. But you don't know the backstory of what's going on with somebody, right? And it's when I interviewed Theo Fleury, he made a really interesting point. He said, you know, when you see people that are, you know, out in public and they're drunk or they're high, and he said they're in pain. And I found that really interesting. You know, he said they're essentially telling you they are in pain and they need help.
Yeah.
You know, but
That's a great point.
it keeps them, it's a block from allowing them to get where they need to be, right?
Right.
Scott Stinson, at Scott_Stinson. Guy, this is unbelievable. This is not really sports related, but it kind of is, because you could be at the airport at 7:30 in the morning watching sports. Guy at airport, 7:30 a.m. Could I get a whiskey? Bartender, I need to check with my manager. How about an Irish coffee? I think that's okay. Great. I'll have an Irish coffee then, with no coffee. Honestly, that's as good as it gets.
That's awesome.
Hey,
So
there's
brilliant.
mail.
We can just say he was probably going to a football game or a hockey game.
Yeah,
That's
for
exactly
sure.
what he was
That's
doing.
where he was going. He's going to Vegas.
I would have loved to seen that conversation. Once again, we got one from Mr. Lloydminster, Ryan Sklapsky,
Yes.
at R. Sklapsky. I'm pretty passionate about the riders, but some of these are priceless. He
So
takes all of
the
us.
one in particular is the guy who punches his television and then throws it out the window.
There's some serious anger problems with some of these guys.
There was one, and I actually didn't see all these, but there was one in particular where the Steelers lost. Did you see the guy that went crazy? He's like,
yeah.
I'm going to kill myself. Did you see that guy?
I've saved that one, yeah. There's a couple real bad Steelers
I'm not
ones.
doing any dishes, no dishes, nothing. I'm going to kill myself. That is going away. That's going, like it's kind of humorous, but at the same time, it's kind of not, because it kind of goes back to there's something underlying
mail.
there,
Yeah,
right?
and that's fandom on the bad side.
It
not
is.
on the
It
good
is on the
side.
bad side, but it makes me wonder what else is this guy dealing with beyond what we're just seeing here. And, you know, people are getting a laugh out of it, but there might be some other stuff going on. Larry Walker, currently a Hall of Famer? Nope. This is Hot Stove Stats at Hot Stove Stats. Larry Walker. Here's his line: 313, 400, 565, 72.6 WAR, a 5.92 WAR for 162 games, 44.6 7-year peak WAR. 141 OPS plus, 1 MVP, great defensively, 8th year on the ballot at a 40% vote. Reggie Jackson, a whole bunch of other stats that I don't need to go through. Bad defensively, first ballot Hall of Famer, 93% vote, seems fair. Should Larry Walker be in the Hall of Fame?
Yes, he was a fantastic hitter.
He was unbelievable. He's probably the best Canadian to ever play the game.
He won a couple batting crowns, did he not?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Mail in the beak.
Just you reading those stats, it doesn't seem fair. Well, it's the voters, right? It's the AP that gets to vote in, and that's the problem with this whole system.
So who should vote? Fans? That's a real bad thing.
No, I would like to see the former players, the players vote. Because the
That's a
players
great
know
idea.
who's good.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. Because you're not going to leave out a guy just because you're mad at him. You know he was good or he was a tough out or a great pitcher.
Who gets to vote when the player dies?
I think you pass it on to someone from that team. That's what you do. Brian at Murder Brian. This is the type of person who inspires me
It's great.
and makes me want to keep fighting for a better world. So he's obviously reading, it looks like classifieds here. At Lackawanna Ave, man reported for sitting in his car for 4 hours. He told the police he can sit in his car if he wants to. That would be correct. You are allowed to sit in your car.
Can you imagine a police officer coming up to your window and, what are you doing in here? I'm sitting in my car. You can't. I'll sit in my car as long as I want to.
Yeah. Once again, I envision a guy listening to the football game or hockey game in his car.
I don't
to
think
get
we
out of
really
the
have time for this. We're going to break here, but that's okay.
Hey, make some noise for mental health awareness. Starts for the ACAC this week since we're talking
Why isn't
about
that tweet
stuff.
on your thing?
It's coming up soon.
Is it?
Ours is February 2nd and 3rd.
Very nice.
We're back. You can keep your gloves on, but ours are off.
Welcome back. What we learned. You learn anything?
Learned a lot this weekend.
Did you?
You're about to find out, I think.
I bet I am. Well, let's find out what you learned about the Steelers' loss to the Jags.
Unfortunately, the bye weekend isn't so great for all teams. I think the Steelers might have overlooked the Jags. I think they were looking forward to playing the New England Patriots. So that's what I learned.
They
The bye isn't always bye always isn't a good thing when it comes to any sport.
I think it's fair to say that the Jags aren't a bad team.
No, the Jags are a very good team, and I think it's also fair to say that Ryan Shazier being out
Hurts
absolutely
big time.
kills the Steelers.
It hurts big time.
It's funny how in a sport like football, one player can make that much of a difference. But what did you learn from the Milos Raonic first round exit at the Australian Open?
This guy's still injured. And I mean, I think I believe he's currently ranked 23rd in singles. I think he was ranked 22nd in the Australian Open. This guy is not. I think he's done. Like I can't see him getting back into the top 10 of the ATP Tour. He's not. He's always injured. He had wrist surgery after the U.S. Open last year. He's an advocate. He's one of the big voices that are trying to get the ATP Tour to stop being a year-round thing and shorten the season because he's constantly injured. I don't know. I can't remember when he's gone through a season and hasn't been injured, and it might not have happened. And we've learned that he still is hurt and he still is not competing at a high level.
Do you think a lot of that's overtraining for the competitions?
I think a lot of it is just his body. I just think his body cannot handle he's 6'5", 215 pounds. I just don't think his body can handle the rigors of a full tennis season. And you see it every year. He's constantly hurt.
Yeah.
What did we learn about the Andrew McCutchen trade? Kutch traded from the Pirates.
Yeah, one of my favorites.
Great point.
A mainstay of the Pittsburgh Pirates. I think what I learned is ultimately it is a business at the end of the day.
It's 100% a business.
He's one of those guys I think would have stayed and played out his career. Now Pittsburgh's moving out all its pieces. I expect anyone worth value like Harrison to be moved out in the next few days. As small market teams are still small market teams.
Now, wait a second, let me get this straight. Did you actually think that baseball, hockey, did you think these weren't a business? Like, what did you think these were?
We grew up in the era where some guys played almost their whole career, like a Stevie Eiserman played their whole career for a team. Ray Bourque almost until the end. Like, those are the type of guys that I miss seeing a guy play their whole career with one uniform. I miss those days, right?
You know, if you think
and it's
about
not
it,
on the players.
The other thing to think about is like a guy like Sidney Crosby. So what's Sidney Crosby make right now? I believe he makes around $8 million a year.
Yeah.
I mean, in my opinion, Sidney Crosby is still the best player in the world. And you've got Connor McDavid making 13. Are you telling me Crosby shouldn't make 13?
No.
So Crosby and Steve Yzerman was that guy. He was not the highest paid player in the league by any stretch. But so Detroit didn't really have a reason to get rid of him.
Yeah.
I mean, McCutchen's pretty highly paid, if I'm not mistaken.
He's paid well, but I don't know. You're going to pay someone. They just signed a reliever now that they're paying $6 million a year. Like, you're spending money. You're spending money somewhere.
What's more important?
I think to the fans. I think you draw more fans when you keep a guy like McCutchen that's been a class act. He's active in the community. He's been a perennial all-star.
Okay, fair enough.
What did we learn about Glenn Glutzen's stick toss?
To
the upper row.
We learned that Glenn needs to do this more often. Clearly, I mean they have been rolling since that point.
Yeah, the guys took it to heart.
They've been like a house on fire, like just nonstop. Cannot put them away. Basically, he needs to do it more often. Apparently, is what we learned.
So you're telling me all I need to do is have one healthy spaz.
But what are you going to do? You don't have a stick. You're going to throw a basketball. You're going to throw a basketball. What happens if you throw it hard and it bangs and it comes back and hits one of your players or hits you? You need something that you can throw up. If you're a baseball coach, you could wing the bat over the fence. You do whatever you want. What are you going to do on a basketball? You're going to throw a shoe?
I threw a basketball once as a player, and it came back and hit my coach.
Right. So you can't throw a basketball.
Didn't work out well.
No, unless it's deflated. You could grab a deflated one. Like have a grip on it and just throw it.
And then it hits the wall and it falls down.
That NCAA one. We're going to throw. You want to throw that? You want to give it a try?
I'm not angry right now.
Just throw it across the studio.
I'm good right now.
What did we learn from the LA Clippers Houston Rockets post-game dust-up?
We learned that basketball players still don't know how to fight. There's a lot of chirping and a lot of hold me backs. Hold me back, hold me back, hold me back, and nothing ever happens. I also think the social media game is just out of control in the NBA.
So out of control.
The NBA players do a good job of marketing themselves as a brand, but because of that, all the little chirping and stuff like this, so NBA players still don't know how to finish fights.
I mean, even watching Kyle Lowry and Ben Simmons, like from Monday night, nothing happened there.
No. And
I'll meet you in the tunnel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll meet you in the tunnel. Nothing happened.
And they got 12 guys probably standing between.
Give me a break.
And Lowry is losing that fight. Simmons is a big dude.
Yeah, for sure.
Just for the record. Lance, what did we learn about the Raptors' close loss to Golden State and not so close loss to the Philadelphia 76ers?
We learned nothing that we didn't already know. This team is hot and cold all the time. There is no real consistency here. They can be great, like they were against Golden State, or they can be below average, like they were against Philly.
You think a little of that is the guys not being motivated to play?
No. How can you not be motivated? You're making millions of dollars a year. You're playing a sport where people, thousands, tens of thousands of people are watching on a nightly basis. How can you not be motivated to go out there and play the game? If you're not motivated to play pro sports, you need to get the hell out of pro sports.
I agree with you, but I know for a fact those guys have Golden State games circled on their calendar, Cleveland Cavaliers. I think when you come off of a Golden State, the world champions, and you play the 76ers, who's been a doghouse team forever.
That should give you more motivation because, hey, we just lost by 2 to the best team in the NBA, and now we're going to clobber these guys. We're going to cream these guys.
You would think so.
No, we're not. No,
well,
we're not.
They just no-showed.
They got to get the act together. You can't win an NBA championship by losing to teams like the Philadelphia 76ers. Okay, I mean, Philly's not as bad as they were years past.
They're a playoff team.
Sure, they are. 7th seed playoff team. What did we learn from the first half of the NHL season, Kinger?
That expansion is a good thing. Vegas is hot. Expansion's good. They're drawing a good crowd. Maybe Vegas is more of a hockey market or sports market than we thought.
You could make the argument that general manager George McPhee. I learned that George McPhee knows what he's doing.
Yeah, pretty smart guy. Those moves seemed ridiculous throughout the summer.
Some of them you're thinking, okay, this is unbelievable. And not only that, they were down to Dylan Ferguson, the 5th string goaltender. He came from the Kelowna Rockets to play goal. Yeah. 5th string goaltender they were down to at one point. They're still leading the West.
And they stockpiled a bunch of picks. I can't remember exactly how many picks they have coming up, but things look good in Vegas.
I'll tell you right now, in the world of what I do for a job, one of the things you want when you go to a sports game, you don't care who wins and loses, really. You want a story. That's what you want. You want something to happen. You're looking for a great story, right?
Yep.
So, like, if I'm a Vegas reporter, I'm praying they win the Stanley Cup. Actually, not even a Vegas reporter. If I'm a reporter in a market that's dealing with NHL hockey, I'm praying this team wins the Stanley Cup. It would be the story of the decade.
Well, I think they're drawing so well internally, but you look at all the Canadian and all the fans that are coming to Vegas to watch their team. I think it's a fantastic setting, and I think NHL knocked it out of the park by going there.
They've done a heck of a job. There's no question about it, and they're going to continue to do some of these U.S. cities are doing really well. Yeah. Nashville's done a great job.
Yeah.
Vegas is following suit. I like it. Seattle next.
If you can't score, you might as well drop the gloves.
Winner, loser. So before we were talking about mental health in the Albert segment, but we didn't actually carry on about that, and we should have. Let's quickly discuss the Make Some Noise for Mental Health initiative. It's already started. The ACAC started Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken.
Started on Tuesday.
Started Monday. Started Monday,
correct.
Sorry.
It goes for a month. SAIT originally brought this to the forefront. RBC has now jumped on board big time. So we have a full month of Make Some Noise for Mental Health, bringing awareness to mental health through athletics, through ACAC, our conference, and the CCAA. So our evening to celebrate this and to end the stigma is February 2nd and 3rd. So we'll be giving away some noisemakers, some T-shirts. We'll have some events going on.
Do you want any speakers?
We do not have any speakers yet. So hopefully we can line something up.
Yeah, I feel like that's a powerful thing, right? When you can get someone who deals with these types of things to speak on those subjects, that can really hit home, right? Especially if it's someone from your school.
Yes.
That's a really big deal. Okay, winner, loser. You started off today.
Sure. Winner, Houston Astros adding ace Garrett Cole to their already loaded lineup.
Right. Another World Series bound team.
I think they got to be. I hate saying it before the season starts.
And it's a long season.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't see any way they're not there.
I mean, unless something catastrophic happens.
Yeah, like 3 pitchers got hurt or something.
Right.
Yeah.
I got a winner. I got Tessa Virtue and Scott Moyer, figure skating tandem that have been pretty good for Canada over the last few years. One, of course, gold at 2010 Vancouver, and a couple of silvers at Sochi Olympics in 2014. They're going to be the flag bearers for Canada at the upcoming Pyeongchang Olympics.
That is the biggest honor you could get as a quote-unquote amateur athlete.
I think it is too.
Yeah. I think that's phenomenal. I like that they took it away from hockey because usually hockey steals the stage.
Well,
So
Haley Wickenheiser did it. She was a flag bearer for Sochi.
yeah, so that's fantastic.
How do you do it with two people? Do
I
you
thi-
hold hands? Do you touch hands? Do you or do you just
think
one
you-
four?
One high, one low.
You got a foregrip, or does one person put the hands on the shoulder of the other
I
person?
think you go high, low,
Do you put it on the waist?
or sideways.
And who's holding it? So you got four hands on it?
I feel like we should send these questions in and
I want to know how this works.
yeah, figure it out.
'Cause I don't want anything weird happening. You know,
We'll do some recon.
Tessa
on this.
Virtue puts her hands on Scott Moyer's hips while he's holding the flag. You don't want anything weird going on there.
Maybe a shoulder, pat on the shoulder.
Yeah, or just a mid back. Good job, Scott. Good job.
So I got a loser coming up. My loser, Cleveland Cavaliers. They've gone 2-8 since adding All-Star Isaiah Thomas to the lineup, who's returned from a hip injury. When you bring an All-Star in, you should be winning games, not losing.
You're definitely
games.
supposed to be better.
Yeah, so they're a major loser.
They're
in my
not
books.
better right now.
No, their team's a mess.
It
We
is a
talked
bit of a
about
mess.
social media. It's getting out on social media. It's getting out through media outlets that no one's happy there.
How's Kyrie Irving feeling right now?
I think he makes it known pretty well that he's real happy in Boston, and he
yeah.
was happy to get out of there.
I as good as LeBron James is, I think he's a problem. I think he's
Yeah.
a big problem.
I've always thought that. It's
He's-
just so
he's-
hard to deal with him.
He's a bit of a baby. And I mean, you saw it the other night against the Raps,
Yeah.
where he was scolding his team and his coach.
Yeah. His coaches can't even talk. 'Cause
No.
He's busy yelling at everyone.
Yeah, exactly. I got a winner. I got a local winner. I've got the PWM Steelers. That is the midget AAA Steelers team who came off another convincing win on the weekend against the Calgary Fire White, if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, this is a great team. They're playing really well. They got great goaltending. They've got a chance to move up to second in the standings, right there. I like what I see out of this group.
Playoffs start for them in February.
They've got 10 games left.
10 games.
They've
So
got 10 games left, and they're going to make playoffs, and they could make some noise.
that's exciting. We're going to have to make sure we get to one of those playoff games, especially if they host it.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, the female hockey in general is good. Even the Bantam Steelers, although they're struggling a little bit this year, they're right there. Like, they're knocking on the door of some of these higher spots. And with that league, 3 points for a win is huge.
Yeah.
A regulation win, you get 3 points. That's a big deal.
Those are big jumps.
You
get
can
a
make
couple of
huge
those.
jumps in no time.
At a winner, unfortunately, the New England Patriots have a healthy Gronk, and they have Jacksonville only stopping them from getting to the Super Bowl. Not usually, Lance, at this time of year do you see Gronkowski healthy. I think the Pats have done a supreme job of making sure that he doesn't get injured this
Well,
year.
and just managing him, right?
Yeah.
Like, they've really managed him well. What do you say about Tom Brady? I mean, what do you say about this guy? He's
know.
40,
He's good.
100.
Yeah.
He's however old he is, 40 or 41, and he's playing like lights out.
Yeah, he played really well. Watching those game recaps, he threw the ball
I
well.
mean, who's stopping this guy? Who's stopping this team? Really?
No
I mean,
one is.
Jacksonville. I'm not ruling them out, but I don't know if anyone's stopping them. Which brings me to the next point: the Jacksonville Jaguars are a winner. Look, this is a team. They haven't. It's the best season they've had in 20 years. They haven't been to the playoffs since 2007. They've been highly disregarded by most naysayers over the course of the season. You know, whether it was preseason and Bortles was an interception machine in preseason, you know, all the way through to now, they're still doubting this team. And what they've done is pretty outstanding. Plus, they've got one of the best defenses in the league.
Yeah. Every week they get dogged. Every week they get dogged about their quarterback. They get dogged about their offense. Their defense gets at least a little bit of the press.
Yeah.
Well, their defense gave up 40-some points to the Steelers. So their offense isn't that bad. They created a lot of turnovers.
For
and
sure.
points off
I mean,
turnovers.
Leonard Fournette had an outstanding game as well for them. And I'm not trying to dog him here, but I just don't know how they beat the Patriots. I'm just not seeing it. The Patriots are too good. They're too good to be beaten by these guys.
I assumed it was going to be a blowout, but who knows
You
what's going to
assumed wrong.
happen. I got loser, my LA Lakers. Terrible season for them. They're at risk
What
of
did you
losing.
expect?
I thought they would be weak, but not dead
They are weak.
Because right now they're at risk of giving up their first-round pick, because if it falls in the top 3, it goes to Boston. So Boston's going to get the 1, 2, or 3 pick in the draft. We won't get it. We have to deal with Lonzo Ball and his dad, and there's a whole bunch of chaos going on. And then we're trying to sign LeBron. I say we because I'm a fan, but yeah, it's a mess. The whole thing's a mess.
I'm not sure why people expected that this team was going to be better than they are. I mean, what made you think they were going to be better than they are?
I thought they took some steps to improve themselves from last season.
How?
But the chemistry's so bad.
What did they do? Signing,
Kuzma's
drafting
been phenomenal.
Ball?
Kuzma's been phenomenal. Clarkson's been better. Clarkson now obviously has been traded, but like they've added some things that looks like, okay, there's some pieces here. I thought Randall's improved his game a little bit.
Look, I got to believe that the addition of Lonzo Ball has been the biggest detriment to their team so far.
I agree.
He's a great talent. I believe he's a good,
Yep.
he's a great talent, or has the potential to be a great talent. But his dad is causing a problem there.
Yep.
And until the Lakers stand up and say, no more, the next time you're not even coming anymore. We're not even gonna let you in the building.
I mean, guys want out of there right now. Like guys are putting on social media, like they just want out.
Okay, quickly, loser. This loser is the players of the Northeastern Alberta Junior B Hockey League who had their points vacated because the Saddle Lake Warriors folded. Give them the points. I understand the wins and the losses. Just give them the points.
The games happen.
The games went on. Give them the points. I understand maybe some teams didn't play as much, but that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
If you want to, forfeit wins and losses, okay, so be it. Because not everybody's played, but points is a different thing.
A lot.
Matt Nelson has like 20 points against him.
We're back, and the gloves are still off.
We're doing some shameless Lakeland promotion here, and this is not because you're sitting here. I don't care who it is. I'll still promote it.
I like it.
Talk about your mother-daughter weekend coming up.
Yeah, exciting. We're running our first ever mother-daughter weekend, January 26th and 7th, when we have GP down. So the moms are going to come. We're going to get them some T-shirts. We're going to do some team bonding with the moms. So we're going to do the Lloyd Escape Room, some manicure, pedicure, and also have a little wine and cheese after. So
Wine and cheese,
wine and cheese, hosted at the King household.
Holy cow. What's the address?
I'm not saying. The house with all the lights on.
Did you put out Christmas lights?
I did.
Is that what you're talking
I
about?
did, and I got in trouble for not taking them down yet. So
Is that what you're talking about? Lights?
Yeah,
Like Christmas lights are
yeah,
still up?
yeah.
Excellent. I'm not shocked that Kinger's Christmas lights are still not out, still not down. I'll start.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you shocked? I know we talked about this already. Are you shocked about the post-game shenanigans between the Clippers and Rockets?
I am absolutely shocked that this brews up on the floor and it's becoming such an issue in basketball.
I'm not shocked at all. I'm not shocked at all.
Go
the
on.
NBA,
Prima donnas?
the NBA is what is the NBA selling right now? The NBA is selling drama. That's what they're selling. They're selling all this BS between LeBron and Kyrie. They're selling this stuff between Chris Paul and Blake Griffin. They're selling all this. It's drama. I watched a sports show this morning that actually said, "We love this drama. I hope there's more of it." It's garbage. It's not real sports.
And it's such small time stuff too. Like it's
What sports is the greatest reality television in that great plays happen all the time and they're happening in real time. You know what I mean? It's not scripted. It's unscripted content, which is incredible. But the fact that this goes on, this is not the kind of reality television sports is. It's terrible.
No, I don't want to see it.
I'm not
personally.
shocked at all. Garbage.
Lance, are you shocked or not shocked that the NFL Final Four QBs are Case Keenum, Blake Bortles, Nick Foles, and the legendary Tom Brady? One of those fits in the Final Four.
One of those things is not like the other.
Can you believe that those are the other three QBs?
I absolutely am shocked by that. There's no way that anyone would have predicted that Case Keenum and Blake Bortles would have been in two of the last four quarterbacks standing in the NFL playoffs.
Now, I will say at different points in the year, you pointed out to us that Philly and Jacksonville both had a shot to get to the Super Bowl.
In a bold prediction, I said that one of the Philadelphia Eagles or LA Rams will be in the Super Bowl.
That's right.
So the
You're
LA
still
Rams are
alive.
out. The Philadelphia Eagles are right there and should win. They should win.
I agree.
So they could be in the Super Bowl. That's the first bold prediction I've ever had right. Okay. Were you shocked that the Vikings pulled off a win against the Saints?
Yeah. Breeze played phenomenal, and it took an
I think the Saints were the heavy favorite here.
Yeah, and they looked like it, I would say, for most of the game.
They did.
Not? And the Vikings pulled out an amazing play.
That was a terrible, I don't know what, that tackle, the rolling over. I think he was trying to get away from a pass interference penalty.
Just to dodge the contact.
Yeah, I think he was worried about getting a pass interference penalty, but it backfired big time.
Yeah. You know what? And the Vikings are a good football team. Right?
Sure, they're not terrible. They wouldn't be there.
Shocked. I'm shocked by that.
No joke.
Are you shocked or not shocked? Colorado Avalanche are 8-1-1 in the last 10 games. They've beat Anaheim, Minnesota, Columbus, Winnipeg, and Dallas all in January.
If you could see my screen, I'm just writing shocked on it.
I hope
Writing
it's
shocked over and over again. How can't you be shocked at this? This was one of the worst teams in the NHL.
yeah, they've been on quite the tear. And those aren't like run-of-the-mill teams. Those are good teams. Those are
No,
good
for
hockey
sure it
players.
is. But they've been rolling. Again, I know we talked about this, but I still got to bring it up. Are you shocked that Andrew McCutcheon was dealt to the Giants?
Yeah, shocked. I think the Giants might actually kind of have a potential contender for the playoffs, but shocked that they got rid of him. I would have liked to seen him stay until he hit free agency again, but as you said, it is a business.
It's totally a business. I'm not shocked by this. Guys get moved all the time, especially around baseball, the league of inflated salaries. Like, I'm not shocked by this. This is not shocking at all.
Connor McDavid is
Yes.
7th in the NHL for points. Are we shocked or not shocked by this?
Yeah, I mean, we got to be at this point. I mean, he should be in the top 2 or 3.
Well, I would think so. And I guess I'll give you a counterpoint on that. Are we shocked that possibly the best player in the NHL is playing on a team that's not in the playoffs?
Well, they're not in the playoffs because the playoffs haven't started yet.
Right. As of right now, I know how you feel about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. He should be top 2.
Yeah, no, he definitely. Yeah, I mean, that's a shocking revelation. I mean, I don't think anyone who watched him play last year would say, oh, yeah, this is a guy that's going to be top 10, but, below top 5
Yeah.
in league scoring. Okay. LiAngelo and LaMelo Ball combined for 0 points in their first game in the Lithuania League and 60 in game 2. You shocked or not shocked?
Not shocked. I saw the highlights of the team they were playing.
They're garbage.
Yeah.
They're playing like it's like us going out and playing Tykes.
I was gonna say it looks like Bishop Lloyd playing like our
Lakeland
college
Rustlers.
boys. Yeah. I was like, what is going on here? It was
Yeah.
purely a promo stunt.
So all of these big baller brand challenges are against these inferior teams.
Yeah, just so that they can have their brand out there, they can sell the
Exactly.
TV rights. Yeah,
So we can show how good my guys are.
Yeah,
They got 0 points in the first game.
I'm not shocked. They'll have to keep doing that because I don't think either of those kids are pro. JD Martinez still on the free agency watch. I think he's
Yeah.
probably the best outfielder. Are we shocked or not shocked? He's still hanging around.
Yeah, shocked for sure. I mean, you'd think he'd be scooped up by now.
He's probably the best hitter or power hitter left out there, or out there in general.
Yeah. Real quick, Calgary Flames won 7 straight.
Shocked.
Yeah.
Shocked.
I mean, holy cow.
But that goes back to the stick throw.
Way to go, Glenn. Glenny, baby, throwing sticks.
Yeah, you can't even hate on that.
There may only be 3 Canadian hockey teams in the playoffs this season
That's
when
a
they
shame.
start. Thanks for watching. See you in 7 days.